What's up, Chucky fans? This is Vicente.
And this is Izzy.
And Chucky Season 3 has just ended, and boy, oh boy, it is a mixed bag of feelings. I love this season. I thought it was a very fun season, especially with the White House setting, and Devin Sawa and Brad Dourif as human Chucky, but I have a lot more problems with the season than I do positive.
Yeah, for me, it started off really, really well, but then it just went downhill.
Yep, second half just went down really, really bad, and we'll get into it right now. Chucky Season 1, fucking amazing. It was perfect. It was back to basic. Jake finds a killer doll, the Chucky doll. Mayhem happens, shit goes sideways, and it was a lot of fun. We get the return of Andy and Kyle and some fun characters. And then Chucky Season 2, despite how you felt about it, it was interesting. We go back to Charles Lee Ray's childhood, with the church school that he attended, the Catholic school, and we get the return of Devin Sawa as a badass priest. Probably my favorite Devin Sawa character he's been so far in the series. It's a lot of fun. And we get Nadine, and rest in peace to my homie Nadine. And then Season 2 ends on a big cliffhanger to where it's revealed that Caroline was working with Tiffany, and then all of a sudden there's a double twist, and Caroline's working with Chucky, as it's revealed that he was the Belle doll in hiding. And so, it was a lot of fun, and I was wondering, how can you do Season 3? Is it going to be set in New York? I thought Season 3 would have been a cat and mouse game, because New York is a big city, so that would have been really fun, but no. Chucky goes to the White House, and it was a lot of fun, which we'll talk about in our positives. So what it's worth, I do think this season was fun, but with my negatives, I do give this season like a strong 6.1 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, this season started off really well, so I gotta give it that. But for me, I feel like it's a solid 6.5 for me. It just didn't.
That's being very generous. That's being hella
know.
generous. There's smarter feelings with it, but let's start with the positives first. And right now, let's go to the positives. With our first positive, we have to get it out of the way. Brad Dourif as human Chucky. Oh my fucking god. So the only times we ever saw Brad Dourif be Charles Lee Ray in human form was in the first Child's Play movie and through archive footage and some Child's Play movies and in Curse of Chucky, but him going all out as human Chucky was fucking fun. And you can tell this man had the time of his life. This man was just having fun, dude. And yeah, it said that he retired from acting, but he said not for Chucky, so it's bittersweet because yeah, he retired from acting, which probably means that he probably won't do any human acting, like physical acting anymore. But as the voice of Chucky, he said he's gonna do forever for as long as he lives. And I just fucking love it. I mean, you're never going to replace Brad Dourif as Chucky. No disrespect to Mark Hamill. He did what he could. But Brad Dourif as human Chucky was just a lot of fun this season, especially as a ghost.
Oh, yeah. It was such a nice treat to see him on screen as human Chucky.
Yeah, and we get to see the many generations of Charles Lee Ray, from him as an old man, and then him in his prime, and then as a teenager, and then as a kid. And when we get the return of, bald Chucky, buff Chucky, and quote-unquote good Chucky, which we'll talk about later in our negatives. But yeah, Brad Dourif, easily a fucking standout in this season, along with Devin Sawa. Devin Sawa, I love Devin Sawa. I loved him in Idle Hands. I loved him in Casper. I loved him in Final Destination, which he's probably best known for. Or if you're a stoner, you probably know him more from fucking Idle Hands. But yeah, my favorite Devin Sawa character has to be from Season 2 as Father Brian. But, in Season 3, he plays the President of the United States. And I told Izzy, you don't think there's any way Chucky will kill Devin Sawa as the president? Because it is a tradition to kill Devin Sawa in this series, which has always been fun. But he's the president. There's no way they're going to get away with it. But no, Chucky does the fucking unthinkable. Chucky kills the president, and not just, in a stabby way. Nah, this man straight up rips out his eyeballs, bites his nose, everything, dude. And Izzy pointed it out when we were watching the episode. He's doing it in Joseph's room. And even the ghost of Joseph tries to tell him, Daddy, look out. Holy crap. We can't show the video because YouTube will flag this video. But holy crap, it was mean.
Yeah, he went out all brutal on that scene.
Yeah, and the positive I will say is that Chucky went fucking balls to the wall in his White House setting. And that's what I do appreciate in this season, is that the White House was very fun. Granted, you kind of do have to suspend your disbelief when it comes to, the White House being very secure, because in reality, that motherfucker is going to have cameras everywhere. In the bathroom, in the presidential room, también, everywhere. And I mean everywhere. So it's kind of, you kind of do have to suspend your disbelief when Chucky's committing these murders in the White House and how he's going to get away with it, because reality, he would have been caught on camera. Yeah, they would have been like, is that a doll? But somehow, some way, there's no way they would have left the president alone as there was murders happening in the White House. That man would have had security around him 24/7.
Exactly. There would have been way more security.
Yeah, and the deaths in this season were actually pretty fun. They were mean because it's revealed that Chucky has to please Damballa because he was involved. He was infected with Christian magic because he was involved in an exorcism last season when he tried to get the spirit of Charles Lee Ray out of Nika into a good guy doll. And so Damballa, that pissed him off. That pissed off the Damballa god. And, Damballa told... And then what I do like this season, too, we get introduced to a doctor, a voodoo doctor. And people didn't like it because they thought it was goofy and wacky. But have you not seen Bride of Chucky? Have you not seen Seed of Chucky? Mm-hmm. Them doing a voodoo doctor is probably one of the least wackiest things he did in this entire series. And it was cool because we get a little bit more info about Damballa, who it is as a entity and all that. And so Damballa's pissed. And then the doctor tells him, you have to please Damballa. You have to go fucking crazy. You have to make sacrifices so much that way the whole world knows who Damballa is. And maybe then Damballa will save you from death. Because Chucky's dying this season. He's dying. There's no coming back. Yeah, he came back from getting shot, torn up, everything. But no, he's about to go bye-bye. And so with him causing mayhem in the White House was just fucking fun and perfect for his season.
Yeah, for me, I think my favorite kill this season was the beheading of the secretary.
Oh, mine's Devon Sawa. And no, not because it's Devon Sawa. It was just a lot of fun. And Devon Sawa comes back as the president's body double, which was a lot of fun. But even then, I felt like you really need a body double. You could just have Devon Sawa come back as a ghost. But yeah, for what it's worth, I will say I love the White House setting. Devon Sawa, of course, a fucking star as always. The kills in this were just creative and fucking fun and out of this world. Mm-hmm. And then Brad Dourif, just being human Charles Lee Ray, was just chef's kiss perfection. I loved it. I really hope we get to see it one last time, but I think that was his last rodeo as far as physical acting.
Yeah, those were our two highlights of this season.
Oh my god, yeah. It was just a lot of fun. Another last positive I will say is that I actually did like the Spirit Room. I think it was very, very interesting with what they tried to do. I know people did kind of we're complaining about it, or you're just kind of weirded out with the fact that we're kind of going supernatural with this whole thing. We're doing ghosts in the White House, spirit realms, and all that, entities. But think about it like this. There's voodoo involved. I would expect there to be ghosts and the supernatural involved. And plus, fucking Chucky. Charles Lee Ray's spirit, his soul's in a Chucky doll. Come on. This series has always been supernatural, so it's not the entirety out of the realm. Now, was I worried they could have fucked it up, made it, really, really bad? Oh, yeah. Easily, because you can fuck up the supernatural in a bad way. That's why, I'm always kind of hesitant when it comes to supernatural horror movies, but they kind of did it really good. It was a fun, creative way, to where it was believable, but it was also really, really fun.
Exactly. I think it was done really well. I will say, wish we had more time with it.
Oh, yes. That's going to be one of our negatives. But I will say, I did love seeing the different generations of Charles Lee Ray. Mm-hmm. From old Chucky to the Chucky that we have now. And then the young Chucky in his prime that we see in the first Child's Play movie. Which, fun fact, he's played by, that's Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter, playing a young Charles Lee Ray. It was cool, if you didn't know in season 2, because I was like, did he do makeup on him? And then when he said that, no, that's Fiona Dourif, that's his daughter, holy crap, it was just fucking cool. And we see teenage Charles Lee Ray, and we see young Charles Lee Ray, and we get the return of Bald Chucky, Buff Chucky, and Good Chucky, which we'll talk about in our negatives. So yeah, the Spirit Realm was actually a pretty fun concept, but like I said, we'll talk more into our negatives. And now, with unfortunate news, we did have some negatives with this season, but let's just say this. It's not us hating. I actually did have a lot of fun this season, but I just felt like this season wasn't up to par like the first 2 seasons.
No, the first season, I will say this season started off really well. It was just the second part that, for me, overall, just wasn't fleshed out enough.
Yeah, I will describe it like this, like Scream 6. The beginning of Scream 6, the first 2 acts were fucking good. They were strong. And then you get towards the ending, the middle act, and the final act. That's when it just completely falls apart. Mm-hmm. It's like we've seen this song and dance before, and it just felt rushed. There wasn't a lot of connections that we could have had where we could have spent more time in the Spirit Realm, but we'll talk about later in our negatives. For right now, let's go with our first negative. And starting out with our first negative, it's going to be the pacing of this season. Now, I will give the benefit of the doubt. We did have the writer's strike, which kind of did hurt a lot of TV shows and movies in production. So maybe, the writing was affected. But then Don Mancini said that literally they had everything ready. They just started back up when filming began. And so I kind of have to be a little, not harsh, but a little constructive criticism when it comes to it. And I just felt like we never really had a full fleshed out story because they were trying to balance the Tiffany story, the Finding Caroline story, and then the whole spirit realm and everything, Damballa. I just felt like it was very overwhelming because it's like we never got time to spend any with any of these stories. At least in season 2, when we did have a Tiffany story, it made sense because in the end it connected because we needed the characters to all meet up for the exorcism to get the spirit of Chucky out of Nika. But in this season, it just felt like all over the place and never really had a set story. It's like, do we want to focus on the White House? No, let's focus on Caroline. No, let's focus on Tiffany. It felt very weird and just like out of place.
Yeah, the storylines just didn't mesh very well this season. And yes, at the very end, it kind of makes sense, but it really doesn't because they only spend like 10 minutes on it.
Yeah, literally, like the whole story thing was literally just for the last episode, which we'll talk about more towards the end. Yeah, and then a big thing where I felt like this too, I felt like we should have spent more time in the spirit realm because the spirit realm was actually very interesting. I told Izzy, at least in the first 3 episodes, yeah, I know we had the mid-season finale, but episode 3 could have been to where, Chucky does this whole thing to where he commits that big-ass murder spree at the White House party for Halloween. And then it's revealed that Chucky's getting old. That way the mid-season finale could have been Chucky going balls to the wall. He kills the president. He sets off the nuke in the North Pole, everything. But then, as a mid-season finale ending, we could have seen the ghost of Charles Lee Ray. That would have been fucking cool. That way, the last 4 episodes, you could have fleshed out the spirit realm story to where, they're trying to figure out, how do we talk to Charles Lee Ray? How do we do this? What is a spirit realm? That way, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, instead of saving that for the last 2 episodes?
Literally, the last 2 episodes. And I get it. They had other storylines to do, like with Tiffany, which I felt like was very fucking stupid. I hated it.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, like, boy, oh boy. But yeah, I would have liked that the whole season in general was just better paced. Because even when it's not the spirit realm, I felt like even in the beginning of the season, Jake, Lexi, and Devin, there's just nothing new you can do with these characters, Like, all of a sudden, Chucky's infected with Christian magic. Yeah, the exorcism and all that stuff. But it's just feeling like we're not getting breathing room, and it fucking sucks. I didn't like it. So I wish this season was a little bit more better pace. Hell, I kind of wish that they would have saved the whole White House thing for another time, but, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
And our second negative, the characters are Jake, Lexi, and Devin. And now, I love the trio in the first 2 seasons. They were fucking perfect. Especially season 2 when they felt like family. But then comes season 3, it's like, there's no evolution to these characters. I mean, yeah, we get some relationship problems and typical teenage stuff with Jake and Devin, which, had cute little moments. But then Lexi, I felt like Lexi was like the odd man out because she was only really there to kind of be like Grant's girlfriend, President Collins', older son. To her, she was trying to seduce him, trying to get inside the White House. And so I just felt like there wasn't really any room for Lexi in the storyline. But yet again, I felt like the same thing with Jake and Devin because it's like, what else can you do with these characters that's new? And it sucks because I felt like you could still do more with them, but it's the same old game every fucking time. But it's worse because now in this season, they just feel like background characters.
Exactly. It felt like Lexi was there just to remind us of her sister.
Yeah, that's the thing too. And I get it. You want to save your sister. And there's a scene in this season to where Chucky is about to set off the nukes. And they're going to stop him. And she straight up tells them, no, wait, we have to ask about Caroline. I am sorry, dude. If the fate of the world, especially World War III, about to happen, your sister is going to be the last thing on your mind. I get it. You want to save your sister. But, dude, the world's about to get fucking nuked and cause World War III. For right now, fuck your sister. I know that's how I mean to say, but the fate of the world on the line. And then with Jake was the most compelling character in this entire TV series, but now he just kind of feels redundant. He's just making all these dumb choices when he should be an expert. He should almost be like Andy, calling Chucky's bullshit, knowing his game plan and everything. And then especially, when Chucky possesses Jake in the dream realm, I'm sorry, that is fucking stupid. That is completely dumb, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I just felt like these characters are just they're done for, which sucks because I still want to see them. I still feel like somehow you can still make their characters and story interesting, but what can you do? They're orphans, you know. And even when their stories end, where can they go? Where do you take the characters from here? Which we'll talk about because I did not like the ending to this season.
Yeah.
And our third negative, the season finale, I didn't like it at all. Like it felt very rushed. It kind of goes back to what I said about this whole season feeling very rushed and fast paced, not giving time to breathe for the audience. But yeah, I told Izzy this. I would have preferred if Jake was possessed by Chucky, but wasn't revealed to the very end, to where we could have gotten a scenario to where Jake leads Devin and Lexi to like some basement cell or even just a house in the middle of nowhere, and he locks them in there with no hope of getting rescued by no one. That way, you know, Jake being possessed by Chucky links up with Caroline, and they go on a fucking all across America committing murders, just mayhem and chaos.
Yeah, I think that probably would have been a much better idea than what we got.
Yeah, because it's towards the end, fucking possessed Jake, which we didn't even get a lot of time with, fucking sucks. I know they kind of, you know, play that game already with Nika being possessed by Chucky, but it would have been fun with Jake being possessed by Chucky because they kind of play into the idea that Chucky really thinks Jake is just like him. So that would have been a cool, interesting concept to where that could have been season 4. The entirety of season 4 could have been possessed Jake with Caroline just creating mayhem and chaos. But no, we don't even get possessed Jake that long. And so we get introduced to another character, Wenderson Wilkins is his name, I believe. Wilkins, to where he's the creator of the Good Guy dolls, and he's in on it with Chucky, Caroline, and fucking Tiffany. No surprise there. And off screen, Devin, Lexi, and Jake get their souls put into dolls in a playhouse. And I am sorry, with what these characters have been through, that is completely stupid. I get it. Don Mancini wants to have twists and turns this whole season, especially with this TV show, because not you won't get a happy ending every time. But what these characters have been through and how smart they should be in these scenarios, they dumb down these characters, and that's so fucking stupid. Like, I don't see how you're gonna do a season 4, because Nika even tries to save him, but then, you know, Wilkinson gets to jump on Nika, and we don't know if she got killed, if she got shot. We don't know if she got turned into a doll, and it's stupid because yeah, maybe Gigi can save him because he mentioned Gigi a lot in this entire season. But if not, obviously they're gonna have Andy and Kyle return and rescue them, which isn't a bad idea. I like Andy and Kyle, but with how season 2 ended with their story, they walked off into the sunset to where they were free of Chucky, and so bringing them back just to rescue Jake, Lexi, Devin, and Nika, it's just stupid to me because let them have their happy ending.
Exactly. I feel like if anything, if anybody has to be there to save them, I feel like it should be Gigi, because I feel like Andy and Kyle deserve their happy ending.
Yeah, like this whole season finale was just stupid because literally we get introduced this whole fucking new character all of a sudden, more lore to the Chucky, which I don't mind. I love lore. You know, it adds more to the story of Chucky. You know, the Good Guy dolls, but it just felt very fast paced. Like it was just stupid. I didn't like this whole season finale. You know, and then, like I said, you have to dumb down Jake, Devin, and Lexi to where they're falling for these obvious traps. It's like, come on, man. You know, they're being blinded to find Caroline, you know, their love for Caroline, that they walk into a very obvious trap. Yeah. And yeah, I would have preferred if the season ended with it being revealed like Chucky managed to possess Jake, and that is just going to cause mayhem and chaos. I would have preferred it that way. And now with our final negative, Tiffany fucking Valentine. Now, let me just make this clear. I love Jennifer Tilly. She's an awesome, beautiful, gorgeous woman. I fucking loved her in Liar Liar. I love her in a lot of stuff. She's amazing as Tiffany Valentine. But I feel like there's nothing more you can do with her character. Like, it's done. It's like Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, and a lot of horror characters, legacy characters. What more can you do with their story? You know, I would have preferred if Chucky killed her in the beginning of season 3, or if she got the death row sentence, if they actually went through with it. I would have respected Don Mancini if he had the balls to do it. And I get it, you know, Jennifer Tilly loves being Tiffany Valentine. Don Mancini loves Jennifer Tilly. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But literally, Tiffany has the biggest plot armor ever. She managed to escape death row with the help of the prisoners, and guards and stuff. It was stupid. I know I said you got to suspend your disbelief, but there's no way in hell she would have escaped. It's just stupid. And literally, she's only in this season just for the season finale, for her to get her own Tiffany doll, or her own Belle doll, which I thought there was no more Belle dolls, but I guess I was wrong because this Wilkinson dude made more. And it's so stupid, but that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is that she literally gets back with Chucky. Well, not even like a season ago, they literally fucking hated each other. She wanted to get rid of Chucky. They wanted to kill each other. In season 1, literally, they wanted to kill each other. Now all of a sudden, they're lovey-dovey. They got married. They're literally making out in the back of the car while Caroline is driving them around. And it's just stupid. Like, what can you do with the character of Tiffany Valentine? Nothing, dude. And now you're fucking over Nika. I'm sorry. Nika needs her revenge. And I know Don Mancini said that Nika is going to get her revenge, but when? When? Because at this point, I feel like they're going to kill Nika off before they do anything with Tiffany Valentine.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid, because she deserves her revenge.
Yeah, and I know Izzy was very annoyed, because I even told her before the season finale started, I'm like, watch the episode begin with Tiffany escaping. And literally, right when it showed Tiffany about to be injected, Izzy went, you fucking called it. Uh-huh. You knew it was going to happen. And after the whole escape scene happened, I know it was supposed to be fun, but it's just getting annoying. Like, there's nothing more you can do with this character. What else can you do?
Yeah, exactly. Let me just put it in picture for you here. You're watching an episode. Literally, Tiffany comes on for 5 minutes just to remind you that she's there.
Yeah, like I said, I forgot she was even in this season because they're trying to play this whole thing to where, oh, she's gonna escape. No, she's actually gonna get the death row sentence. And like I said, I love Jennifer Tilly. I love Tiffany Valentine, but I just felt like there's not more you can do.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably going to go back to the way they were at Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky at each other's throats. And if that's the case, what was the point of them getting back together? They're a toxic couple because in the end, Chucky doesn't give a fuck about anyone else. Maybe he cares a little bit about Tiffany and Gigi, but in the end, he only cares about himself. He's a narcissist. And it was revealed by Damballa. Chucky is a big narcissist, probably the biggest one in the world. So what's the point of getting them back together if Chucky's probably just going to abandon her at first sight? Probably along with Caroline. Who knows? But yeah, like I said, if I were to give this season a rating, it's a 6.1 out of 10 for me. I did have a lot of fun with this season, but I told Izzy with how the season finale is and how well it's written, paced, and how it ends is really going to determine if I liked it more than season 2. Mm-hmm. And sad to say, I kind of prefer season 2 over season 3.
Yeah, for me, again, I give this season a 6.5. And for sure have to say season 2 is still my favorite. Just because I feel that storyline was still super cohesive, where this one, it kind of just dropped the ball at the end.
Yeah, it did. Like I said, I compared it to Scream 6. Very strong opening, very strong beginning, fucking amazing. They're doing something different. It's the White House, for God's sakes. We never got to see a slasher villain in the White House causing mayhem and kill the president of the United States and set off a nuke. They could have done so much more with the whole White House thing. But then it's like, oh no, we got to get to the spirit realm thing, which you could have paced a little bit better. And then we got to get to fucking make these kids dolls, screw over Nika for the millionth time. And it's like, it's getting repetitive at this point. And so, if you do a season 4, they better make it fucking good. They better make it top notch. And now, there is going to be a new Chucky movie being directed by Don Mancini. But the biggest rumor is that it's going to have nothing to do with the Chucky TV series. Like, it's going to be its whole separate storyline, which we already got that with, Curse and Cult of Chucky, and then the TV series to where Cult and Curse was about Nika, and the TV show's about the trio. And so it's like, can we just get a movie to end all things with Nika, Kyle, Jake, Andy, Lexi, and Devin? Have all the characters together for one last movie and end everything, and then reboot maybe in 20 fucking years? I don't know. I just felt like at this point, Don Mancini's like kind of beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has something amazing planned for season 4 in the movie, but we'll see. But like I said, I don't mind this season. I'd had a lot of fun with it. But ultimately, I kind of prefer season 2 over season 3.
For sure. Season 3 I really only like because the kills were really cool.
And, Brad Dourif coming back as human Chucky, yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this review. We hope you liked the video. Stick around, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace out, everyone.
Bye, guys.